Hi guys, so welcome back to my YouTube channel once again. So I brought in a special guest, Asjad from Cricket for Us 2.0. So welcome to my channel once again.
Thank
Yeah,
you very much, man. Thank you so much. Very happy to be here and very happy to discuss cricket because I'm always up for a cricket discussion.
yeah. So today we are going to discuss about Australia versus Bangladesh. First of all, the review of the 2020 series, and then also we'll be doing India versus England second test match, day 3.
Mhm.
Yeah, the review of that as well. So first of all, we'll discuss about Australia versus Bangladesh. I mean, devastating. Bangladesh definitely devastated. Australia, yeah. So, what's your opinion on the whole series, Asjad?
Okay.
Yeah,
Right. My first thought is if you look at England, you look at India, you look at Australia, you look at New Zealand, these are probably the top four sides in the world right now. Okay. And they've
yeah,
actually experimented in sending their slightly weakened squads to different countries to see how they perform. Now,
yeah,
England has succeeded, right?
yeah,
India has succeeded. New
yeah.
Zealand has succeeded. Australia,
But not Australia.
Australia has not. They got demolished in West Indies. They got demolished in Bangladesh. Yes, the pitches weren't great for batting, but come on, you have Zampa, you have Swepson, you have batsmen who can actually hang in there. Mitchell Marsh, the only guy. What did he averaged about 35 or something like that? Not in this series, but both the series combined. And at the end of it, none of their batsmen scored above 15 as an average in this Bangladesh series, barring Mitchell
Yeah,
Marsh. So it's Australia's weakness with the bat, but also the fact that they couldn't bamboozle the Bangladeshi batsmen like they were doing with the ball to Australia. So it was very disheartening from an Australian perspective. However, if you look at it from the Bangladesh perspective, it's great. Doesn't matter what side come in, right? Doesn't matter if it's a B side, whatever side it is. At least it's Australia coming to your home country and getting absolutely battered, smashed on there. You've shared the shared the scores there, so just check that out.
yeah.
Australia
But
bowled
still,
out
I
for
think both sides.
62.
I think both sides struggled. I think Australia and Bangladesh both. I think only one match Bangladesh could manage to get to 130, but it
Yeah,
was shocking to see both Australia and Bangladesh struggling in flat conditions, especially in Bangladeshi conditions. So that's a concern. Talking about Australia, how concerned are you about? I mean, their batting order, like now we know that Aaron Finch was injured in this series and he couldn't play for this series. But how concerned are you of the options that they have, like the B side that Australia currently have? Is that a
their B
concern?
side. It's not the greatest, I must tell you. Who the Ben McDermott? They've got Matthew Wade, who's probably going to stay there. Mitchell Marsh, who's done an okay job. You've got Moses Henriques, Josh Felipe. Those guys have not performed. Ashton Turner haven't done great job. Okay, but the thing is, if you look at Australia, there is no Warner, there is no Finch, there is no Smith, there is no Stoinis, there is no Maxwell. That is five players who almost make every T20 for Australia who didn't go, and they
Yeah,
didn't go to West Indies either. So the way I see it is their backup, their bench isn't very strong, but their main players are still very, very strong. They're just not playing for Australia right now, which is why we've seen them lose like spectacularly in
mm,
these T20I series. But there's a counter argument there. These players did play against India. These players did play
yeah,
against England. Australia still lost. All right. So
yeah,
what can I say? But in these conditions, I think the pitches were I wouldn't call them flat tracks. I would call them pitches that were difficult to bat on,
mm.
especially if spin is if you got spinners in the side. You have Shakib Al Hasan. They
But
had
I
Mehdi
think
Hassan Miraj, right?
yeah, sorry to disturb you there. I think Dan Christian hit five sixes of Shakib's bowling in one match, if I'm
And
not
the next
mistaken.
one. And then in
Yeah,
the next match, Shakib got 4 for 9.
yeah. And
Yeah.
talk about Shakib Al Hassan's performance. He was the man of the match, man of the series in both the ODI and 2020 series against Australia. How do you credit his performance? Was he the best for Bangladesh
Yeah,
or the
100%.
best performer? Yeah,
Right. Pawan, I must say the thing that Shakib Al Hasan does all the time is perform consistently for Bangladesh, right? and he just keeps performing and performing. And we've seen it on here as well. If you look at the stats, he's the second highest scorer. He's also one of the highest wicket takers, if I'm not wrong, in the series as well. Right.
Yeah.
So he's absolutely fantastic. And he kind of gels the entire Bangladesh team together. So I'm just super excited to see him even grow more. And especially when the World Cup's coming up in a couple of months, he's going to be that key factor. Him, Mahmudullah, Mushfiqur Rahim, Mustafizur Rahman, Mehdi Hassan, right? These guys are going to be the core of Bangladesh, who are going to help them potentially get into the the Super 12s, as you could call them.
Yeah. And I brought in a fan as well, and who is being as an analyst also. Aryan is back also in my channel. Thank you so much for
Hi,
coming. Yeah,
hi, hi.
what's
Hi.
your opinions on Shakib Al Hassan's performance for Bangladesh throughout the ODI in the 2020 series against Australia? And after that, I think after the criticism he got towards that umpire, after that bashing, and yeah. So, what's your opinions on Shakib's performance as all around?
I
Yeah.
mean, I think he's one of the most experienced players in the Bangladeshi side. He's done it for so long, and well, you are right on the path that his behavior was uncalled for. But after that, I think he's learned his lesson, and I always think that if one player got hit for five sixes in the one game, he could not have come back like Shakib did. He came back because of his experience, the wealth of he plays all around the world. He's played every league in the world. He knows how to bowl on Bangladeshi pitches. Plus, he's someone who the team can bank on to get wickets. And talking about Australia on this tour, I mean, most of these players have played IPL, as Asjad said. There's a counter argument that they have played India and England, and I think it goes down to Australia came to Bangladesh for the preparation of T20 World Cup. I think that was their main motive of coming here. But again, I think the plan backfired, and now the whole world knows that if any of the main players are missing from the Aussie side, this side can be exposed to spin very badly, and these are danger signs for Australian cricket. To end my talk, I think Bangladesh have a good chance, seeing their spin attack, and if the wickets stay tired throughout the qualifiers, I think they can make the Super 12.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that comment, Aryan. Yeah. Asjad, coming back to your opinions as well. What do you see now? Australia now, they don't have Warner, Finch, Smith, Stoinis. So once these players come back to the squad, do you see Australia coming back strong in the 2020 World Cup when all these 7 or 8 players come back to the side once again? Because Ponting, even I think he criticized the B team of Australia. I saw a tweet of him after that Bangladesh series. He was particularly worried about how Australia are going to face other teams in the 2020 series in the future. So, your thoughts on that?
Well, I think Ricky Ponting's a smart guy, right? He's criticizing the B team because he realizes the backup of the main players aren't good enough. But the main players, when they come back, obviously the thing is, right? The players we've all named are marquee players. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to perform. We forgot Pat Cummins, by the way, who did not play the entirety of
Yeah.
these series, right? Josh Hazelwood played most of the matches. Stark played most of the matches, but not every single match. You saw Zampa, we saw Ashton Agar, we saw a lot of Australian players who usually are mainstays but didn't play every single game. So now when the main players come back, I think Australia is a very strong contender. However, I don't see them going past the semifinals. Even if they get to the semis, it's difficult for them to get to the finals because spinning tracks and all that stuff we have to take into consideration. But their players are good. They just have to realize that, there's better teams in the world right now. We've got New Zealand, we've got England, we've got India, who are genuinely better than the Australian T20 side. Australia are ranked number 6 in T20s. Can you imagine? They're number 6. I didn't know this till
Bangladesh
yesterday.
are ranked number 10. I'm not sure whether they should be high in the rankings right now after beating Australia. That's
Exactly.
the most alarming thing, because they won 4-1 against Australia. So I don't know what's wrong with the rankings as well. Also talking about the batting coach and bowling coach, I think Bangladesh recently appointed Rangana Herath as the bowling coach, and then Ashwal Prince got extended contract, I think, as the batting coach of Bangladesh. So how much credit should you give to these? I mean, foreign coaches. I mean, even I think the Bangladesh head coach is also foreign one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how
So
much credit?
I
Yeah.
would I would credit Rangana Herath like anything, dude. First, let's talk about his career. Over
Hmm.
400 Test wickets. He is one of those players who, whenever he plays Pakistan, he just come out and take like 10 wickets every game. Right? He's that type of bowler. And what he's
Yeah.
taught the spinners, again, these are experienced players, but that bowling coach, that experience that Herath brings, would be very,
Hmm.
very essential to them. We can't talk about Ashwell Prince so much because, as we pointed out, it wasn't a batting series; it was a
Yeah.
bowling series.
Bowling
Even
series. Yeah.
Mustafizur Rahman is a pace bowler, but he was economical. His economy was less than 4 or less than 5 in this particular series, which is just
Yeah.
outstanding. 5 games with an economy of less than 5, it's outrageous. He picked up like 7 wickets as well. So I think Herat's inclusion as the bowling coach, that spin factor that he brings, the advice he could give these spinners from Bangladesh, really, really has helped them, because Mehdi Hassan is amazing. Honestly, Nasoom Ahmed is fantastic. We talk about Mustafiza, talk about Shakib Al Hassan. We talk about so many spinners that Bangladesh has. They can genuinely
Mhm.
bring any batsman and they can bowl some sort of spin. That's the way I've seen it. Unless it's Tamim Iqbal or someone, right? Everyone else can come in and just bowl spin, and they get some sort of purchase, because those were the types of tracks we were playing on. And at the end of the day,
Mhm.
Herat's advice, Herat's consultancy, Herat's coaching has helped Bangladesh.
Mm. Yeah, Aryan
Yeah,
and
yeah, true.
Asjad, who were the new players that impressed you the most? So for me, I think it was
Mhm.
Asif Hussain, if I'm not mistaken, the wicket keeper. I think for Bangladesh, he was pretty good throughout. So for you, who was the find of the series for you? I mean, amongst the new players for both Bangladesh and Australia.
I think Nasoom Ahmed for me for Bangladesh, definitely.
Yeah,
I think he came up from the under 19 ranks, Nasoom Ahmed, and this was the first time I saw him. I mean, he's got a good head on his shoulders. He can bowl with the new ball. So any spinner in T20 cricket that can bowl with the new ball, obviously an asset to the side. Plus, how he bowled to the righties as well as the lefties. He knows what he's doing, and that is pretty important in T20 cricket. Looking at Australia, I would again say that Mitchell Marsh was the standout, simply because of the reason he was the lead batsman, and Mitchell Marsh throughout his career has not become the lead batsman for Australia. This was the first time he was the main man. All the responsibility was on his shoulders, and I think he handled it pretty well. For me, it would be Mitchell Marsh, and Australia. Well, it was a poor batting show, so I won't go too much into the bowling because Bangladesh also batted very poorly. But yeah, Mitchell Marsh and Nasoom Ahmed for me.
for me, one Australian bowler that stand out for me is Nathan Ellis. Third ODI, third 2020, he picked up a hat trick, which was crucial, I think, in the last three deliveries. Otherwise, Bangladesh would have scored 140, I am not mistaken, in that match. Yeah. So, but Asjad, your opinions as well. Who was the most
I have to agree
impressive?
with Aryan here, because Nasoom Ahmed was, this is the first I'd seen of him as well. And he
Yeah.
was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant. He's the joint highest wicket taker as well.
Yeah.
If I look at from the Australian end, Nathan Ellis, yes, he got that hat trick. I'm very excited to see Mitchell Swepson. Even when I saw him in Australia late last year, Mitchell Swepson's been someone that I've been very excited about as a leg spinner. He's very good. So
Yeah. Oh, okay, okay. Also, there's no comment. Yeah, Samath has brought a interesting comment, right? Australia have failed to chase 9 times in their last 10 attempts in 2020s. The target which they chased was 105, which I guess that was the fourth 2020 which they won. So these are concerning times, and I think Australia have won 2 matches out of the 8 matches they have played. The last 10 matches, they've only won the last 2 matches. So these are seriously worrying times for Australia right now. Yeah. On that stat,
Asjad
Asjad, your
working? Is Asjad's camera working? I think he's lagging a bit.
yeah. Aryan, your thoughts? Yeah, on
On
Australia.
Australia, like, yeah, I mean, man, Australia right now, if we, mummy, right now, if we see like they're struggling a bit, and they need to be, well, they need to revamp the side. Number one, bring in their main players back, and then I'm not too sure what's their next assignment. Which tour are they going on? But whatever it is, they should bring their players back because it's high time that they get games under their belt. Otherwise, it's Australia will struggle in the T20 World Cup for sure.
Yeah, because I think Australia are missing key players. Actually, yeah, they are. I don't know what to say about Australia. It was actually the fifth ODI, their lowest score ever, 62 all
Hmm.
out, and they were just clueless. I mean, all the batsmen, when you check that match, I mean, even
What
Mitchell
was
Marsh,
the wait? What was the score of Australia when India bowled them out in the 2014 T20 World Cup? What was that? I think it was.
I
I
think it was
think
less
that.
than 62. I think it was some 80 something, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
that was some 80 something. This is their lowest, right?
Yeah, this is their lowest. This is their lowest for sure. Yeah, I mean, it was
And
horrible.
again, to point out that day also Indian spinners had a web on them. Plus, they had all their main batsmen in the side. So again, playing spin has always been a problem for the
Yeah.
Aussies.
But why
Hmm.
have Australian struggle? I mean, why has Australian batsmen struggled badly against left-arm spinners like Nasu Mahmud and Shakib Al
Hmm.
Hassan?
I think one of the main reasons is when the left armer is bowling, he uses that angle. The ball is coming in, and the batsman plays for the angle. Plus, if the ball is spinning, then well, it's double trouble because you're playing for the one coming in, and the ball goes away. That's a danger. And then you think one turned, this one would turn, but the next one remains straight, and that gets you LBW. So I think that is the reason that Aussie right-handers, especially weren't able to pick Nasum Ahmed, the variations he had. And yeah, that was one technical reason I feel that they failed to play spin.
Your thoughts as well, Asjad, on why Australian batsmen have been struggling against left-arm spinners such as Shakib and Nasu Mahmud, the new upcoming replacement for Shakib, I think, coming up. Yeah.
Well, to be honest, first off, apologies. I think my internet just died, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't
I'm
know
so
if
sorry
my
about.
voice.
Yeah, I didn't inform the fans as well. I'm so sorry about it. Yeah, but
Right.
you can
So
continue. Yeah.
in terms of in terms of the batting side, I think Aryan's on point there. The thing with Bangladeshi left arm off spinners is they don't stick to over the wicket very often when it's a right hander. They go around the wicket, they use the angle, they use the crease, and they use slightly round arm action sometimes as well.
Mhm.
And when you've got that round arm action, you're pitching the ball on about off stump and the ball is spinning. Again, I'm gonna say exactly what Aryan said. Double trouble. It definitely is because you're playing for the spin or you're playing for the arm ball. Either way, it's gonna kind of trouble you as a batsman. You won't know which way it's going. Even if they try to read it off the pitch, it's probably too late because as soon as it pitches, it kind of rushes onto the batsman, and that's why they've been struggling. All the not just right-handers, honestly, the left-handers have been struggling as well. That's the thing. Matthew Wade even was struggling in this particular series. He's not had the best of times. And it's really surprising to see that Australia can't find a genuine T20 wicketkeeper batsman. Josh Inglis is the
Mhm.
name I've been hearing, but he hasn't even played for Australia yet. He
What
played
about Alex Perry?
Alex Carey in T20s. I would not put him in T20s. Like ODIs, I'm okay with. T20s, no way, man. No way. Like he's
Hmm.
not got that game. He's that guy who'd come in, he needs about 15 to 20 deliveries. Unless you send him to open,
Hmm.
there's no other reason for him to be in the side. So Alex Carey is going to be a tough one for me
So
in
you
the
don't think that
T20
he
setup
can
as
be a
well.
Yeah,
T20 captain in the future? You
No,
2020
don't see that
captain.
happening?
No,
no, no, no, no.
Because even
no.
Matthew Wade has been struggling. What do you guys think about Matthew Wade's captaincy? I mean, it was so, I mean, less impressive because at least Alex Carey in the ODI series at least has won the series in West Indies. I mean, back there. But against Bangladesh, I don't know. In the 2020 series, I mean, why are they struggling so much? I mean, the captain, I mean,
Uh,
what?
Again, Pawan, I'll just put a point forward here. T20 and ODI, completely different formats, man. And
I know
the
that. I know
captain has
that.
to, yeah, the captain has to think differently. Plus, considering the batting, I think the captain needs to set the plan, like go five overs, take short targets, give the team a plan, and then the team follows it. The captain, he doesn't himself know how to chase the target. What would others know? I mean, there needs to be a set plan, and I think Wade really didn't convey that to his side because first of all, when a team struggles in the first two games, then for the whole series, they struggle. because they're afraid of what happened previously. And I think that fear only took Australia down from the first two games.
Venkat has asked a question here. How about Darcy Short? We have seen him performing in the 100, especially, and he
Hmm.
was terrific. I mean, for Trent Rockers for certain games, not he has not been consistent always, but is he an option? I think instead of Josh Philippe, maybe.
He is definitely an option. The issue once again with Darcy Short is he's not consistent enough. If he was consistent enough, he'd be in the side already, right?
Hmm.
He's probably one of those guys who can bash, let's say, out of 10 innings, he'll have 2 to 3 good innings. Okay. And with Australia and the conditions they are, especially their B team, they'll need someone who can score 5 to 6 games out of 10. Someone like Mitchell Marsh. Right? They don't
Hmm.
need someone who can only do 2 to 3 games. Even if they found like five players who can have 2 good days out of 10, that's still not good enough. They need someone who's more consistent. Darcy Short can actually score. He's one of those guys who can score 100 off 50 balls, right? He's one of those characters. He's one of those batsmen, but at the same time, he's not going to be that consistent. And that's where Australia kind of struggles right now with their T20 side, especially. Like I've been talking about this for quite some time. Why hasn't Labuschagne debuted in the T20s for
Hmm.
Australia yet?
Yeah,
I don't
true,
understand.
true.
Yeah,
Right?
that's,
He can bowl, he can bat. He did it in Australia. He did it in the Vitality Blast. He did it in the 100. He's been
Hmm.
doing
but
it
Asya,
basically.
I think
the thing with Labushang is that he takes some time, like especially he's like a test
they
player for
need
me.
that.
He's a patient player for me. Like as even Aman, I spoke with Aman as well about Labushang as well. It's his favorite batsman as well. He also said that it takes some time for Labushang to get going. So I don't know how he can adapt to 2020 format. Like
He'll,
it takes
he'll,
time for a test player to
uh-huh.
adapt to 2020 format. Yeah, without having any IPL experience as well. But we know about KL Rahul as well, how he adapted immediately from 2020 cricket to Test cricket. So it takes some time. But yeah, Aryan, your thoughts as well? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Manas Labuschagne, I think he can be the player like Steve Smith. If Steve Smith is leaving this side, which we have heard rounds about that he's focusing on Test cricket and he might not even be in the World Cup. And Manas Labuschagne is someone who can stay there for 20 overs and then innovate later. You need one guy in the T20 format to hold up one end, and I think that will free up everybody around the likes of Maxi Stoinis, even Mitchell Marsh coming in. Then you got the openers. Not sure about Finch yet, but certainly David Warner. It'll
I
take
think
that pressure off
sorry to
everyone.
interrupt.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but I think Steve Smith is currently having a shoulder injury and he's not
Oh,
sure whether he can play for the 2020 World Cup actually.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. That opens up a very good spot at number three. So I think Manas has been performing really well, and he deserves a chance. Certainly deserves a chance in the side. Yeah.
Yeah. This is also interesting comment here from Rohan. On slow pitches, Australia batting lack ability to rotate strike. Pressure builds, resulting in big shots where they get out. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, that's
So
interesting. Yeah.
just on your point there, Pawan, about Marnus Labuschagne, right? This is the thing. Marnus Labuschagne, and I'm looking on Cricinfo as we speak. So his last
Mm.
3 T20 performances, domestic, he scored a
Yeah.
78 of 47 and he scored a 33 of 20. Okay? So if you're telling me he doesn't have the strike, yes, he takes some time, but he's batting at number 4, number 5, and he's still scoring runs. So for me,
Mm.
Marnus Labuschagne should be a no-brainer in the Australian side. You talked about Steve Smith carrying a shoulder injury, but at the same time, Aryan's right. Steve Smith is going to concentrate on the Ashes, right? There's a
Yeah.
very high chance he's not going to play
But
in
even
the T20
Labuschagne
World
could
Cup.
cost them for the Ashes as well. He's a
He's a
important
younger
batsman for
player.
Australia in the Ashes.
Pawan,
Yeah.
he's a younger player. He's actually playing T20 cricket in England, right? For over the
Yeah.
past couple of months, he was playing T20 cricket in the in the Australian domestic season as well. And yes, he hasn't been selected for the IPL, but at the end of the day, the end result is he's performed in a lot of other leagues or a lot of other
Yeah.
T20 tournaments. He's going to be someone that they definitely need to debut sooner rather than later because it's going to be too late if he debuts in the T20 World Cup, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. True.
Ashutosh said Australia have dig a hole for themselves by sending B team, but don't take the Aussies lightly in World Cup. It will be a different team and they're all match winners. Yeah, I agree on that as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah. So let's move on to the England versus India. I think that's enough. I mean, we discussed on everything. Yeah. So
Hmm.
talk about day three, guys. What do you think about Joe Root's innings? First of all,
Uh, Joe
yeah,
Root right now, I mean, he's I mean untouchable the way he's playing. I mean, it was a lovely innings to watch as a I mean cricket fan because he's taken up that responsibility, and maybe some people will question the fact that he's only performing in England. That is something you might look to question, but again, the way he's played and a major I mean the thing in his technique I saw is playing the ball very late. Lets the ball come onto the bat, not fishing at it outside the off stump. Plus, his patience is exemplary, and I mean, India also. Well, they don't have an answer to him right now, and but still, I think India fought back really well. Otherwise, this lead could have gone out of hand. It's only 27 runs, but we'll see what happens. But Joe Root, 10 on 10. Yeah, brilliant performance.
Asjad, your opinion is Joe Root. I think, is the second ever batsman for England to get 9,000 runs, and he's the second youngest also to get 9,000 Test runs. So, your thoughts on Joe Root's incredible form in 2021? 5 centuries so far for Joe
Yeah,
Root.
he's been great. He's been absolutely great. And this is the thing. He's realized that everyone bugs him about, oh, your conversion rate isn't great. He's like, nope, I'm just going to start scoring centuries. He scored a 50, he scored 100. Now he's scored another 100, which he's still going. I've got a very high chance he's going to get a double 100. This,
Mm.
well, he can't get a double 100. Obviously, the innings will
I
be.
guess they are all
Forget
out.
what I'm saying.
All out.
Forget what I'm saying. He could have gotten a double 100. That's what I'm trying to say. That's how good he is, and that's how good of a form he's in at the moment. So yeah, definitely, I think Joe Root is. He thinks he's not part of the Fab Four, but he definitely is part of that Fab Four club with Virat Kohli, Steve Smith, Kane Williamson, and then Joe Root. His captaincy has been pretty decent as well, but more importantly than that, his batting form is in check, and in England, he's been performing really well. So I'm super excited to see how he performs the next time because he'll have two good innings, but then he might not be able to continue, and that's what I'm waiting
Mm.
for. If he'll be able to keep converting those 50s into hundreds.
Yeah. I brought in Venkat as well, who's also been on my show before. Venkat, your opinions on Joe Root's incredible masterclass batting yesterday, 180 not out. I mean, how incredible was he? We also said that if Joe Root sticked in that in innings, he definitely can make England take the lead. And he was the only batsman who took responsibility to ensure that England took a lead against India. So, your opinions on Joe Root's batting? I
Well, there
mean,
is
this
no
year he's been
real
great.
opinion to be left. He's a terrific batsman. There's nothing, no opinion left. He's just good. He's just that good. The best thing about Joe Root's batting, in especially in the modern game, what I feel is we talk a lot about playing as per play free, play what you want, play as per your style. What we talk with Pant, what we talk with Stokes, the aggressive cricket and these things. But when it comes to when I see a Joe Root batting, it reminds me, okay, it might be a big comparison, but I'm just talking in terms of discipline. Remember that iconic match in Australia when Tendulkar did not play a single cover shot? He played everything in leg and went on to score his 100. Now, that is the level of discipline Test cricket demands. Now, if you compare it with the 2018 series when Joe Root got out, yesterday there was a beautiful explanation of what he improved from Sanjay Manjrekar in the extra innings, where they showed his approach to defend ball. Previously, he was defending while his left leg was on off stump. So if he misses the ball and if it hits his pads, it was very clear that it will hit his leg stump. But now he's defending the ball from middle stump. So if at all, if his defense is missing and the ball is hitting his pads, the umpire is very clear that the ball is missing the leg stump and it is now he's not out. And that's what happened yesterday when a lot of balls whenever the bowler spears his defense, it was clearly not LBW because the angle was going out. That the discipline to correct his form, to correct his stance is what requires to be at that top notch. The guy never lost his concentration. He was on par, and he lost. He ran out of partners. He was on the way to get a daddy 100.
Yeah. Also, we'll switch to India as well. How impressive was Mohammad Siraj? I mean, I think he took
Hmm.
4 wickets, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, but how
Hmm.
good was he? I mean, yes, yesterday, Astad. Yeah.
Uh, Yeah, Mohammed, I can go if
Yeah,
everyone's
Aryan,
okay with that. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, Aryan,
So
you
Mohammed
continue.
Siraj, I mean, yesterday it were tough conditions to bowl in, no doubt about that. Not much help, but what Siraj did it. He used the angle of the slope that Lords provide really well. I mean, he came from over the wicket, angling the ball into the pads. Plus, he had the field for that. So the batsman was always falling across, and that means the LBW chances were always created. Plus, Joe Root also, got away with a few inside edges, and he ran in all day. That shows number one his fitness, how fit he is. I think he's fittest among the lot, and he didn't
Hmm.
overstep
Good.
much as well. I'm now
Yeah,
gonna come to
but
Jasprit
Bumrah's
Bumrah.
overstepping. Bumrah's
Bumrah's overstep.
overstepping.
Plus,
Yeah,
Pawan, look
too
at the
many
scoreboard,
balls.
man. Look at the number of extras. Can you tell me the number of
Okay.
extras?
Yeah, sure. I think it's 33 extras. Yeah, I think England, I think first three innings they took, I think about 35 extras if I'm not
So
mistaken.
that
But
is,
India in just one innings they have
hmm.
they have given 33 extras to England.
Yeah, 33 extras in one match right there. It's a crime, and those 33 runs they might come back and bite India very hard. So India, I mean, if I were to give it out of 10, I'll give it a 7.5. Not for the comeback, getting wickets of Bristol, but okay performance for me. Not that great.
Yeah, Asjad, your opinion on, I mean, too many extras, right? When you see in that one innings, 33, they could have even trailed. England would have trailed if India didn't give that much extras.
Yeah, this is the thing. Jasprit Bumrah bowled 13 no balls, which equals Zahir Khan from like a while ago, right? And on
Yeah,
Crick Buzz, there was this conversation about Zahir Khan saying it's just a mess up of his run up, right? It's an
yeah,
issue with his run up that once that gets fixed, he won't be bowling this many no balls because some of them were huge, were a lot bigger than you'd expect from someone like Jasprit Bumrah. Those no balls going up about 2-3 inches. So this is the thing. In terms of the entire bowling performance, that comeback in the final session was really good. Ishant Sharma was very good. At the end, Siraj was good throughout the innings, I think, personally. Jasprit Bumrah was unlucky, but he kind of had to pay that off because he was bowling so many no balls. So I thought, for me, the star of the show in terms of the Indian bowling side was actually Ishant Sharma, the way he
mm,
actually came back. I
yeah.
think did he take
That's
two
what I was
wickets in
going to
two
say as
balls as
well.
well,
Yeah.
didn't he? Later
Mm.
in the inning. So it was
I
very
think
good
Ishan was
comeback. Yeah.
outstanding. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
he took three important wickets. I think lately, yeah. I mean, getting Moeen Ali out, Moeen Ali and yeah, Sam Curran, which was I think he got two wickets in two balls.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was very vital at that time. Yeah, for India to restrict England to a small lead. Yeah,
Yeah.
Venkat, your opinions on Ishan Sharma? He was, I mean, he was the pick of the bowlers for me as well. Yeah, I agree with Asjad over there as well. Yeah, both Siraj and Sharma were brilliant.
If you ask me, my pick of the bowlers would be Mohammad Siraj because the way he barraged Johnny Bairstow with his short balls and eventually getting his wicket, like that was the intent I wanted from bowlers as a personal fan and a cricket, uh, what I think about it. Second,
Yeah.
Ishant, there is nothing, there is no point. Like Ishant has been good, he held his lines and it paid off. And especially the best part about his bowling was the wicket of Sam Curran, which could have been the final nail in the coffin for Indian bowling. The fact that he got him out on the first ball, that is the important part. Because if he would have stuck there with Root
Yeah.
getting double hundred, this 27 run lead could have been well over 127 runs. So that was the important point. But just adding a bit of briefer to Bumrah. First of all, Bumrah, like I saw in the comments also, Mr. Shankar Raman had said, Bumrah was not looking his usual self. First thing, that is very clear. Because
Mm.
whenever, if at all, if there's a drop catch, if there is anything, if there is a misfield, Bumrah never shows his reactions, expressions, or emotions on the field. He would just cover his face, or he will do something. He'll smile and his boil walk up, go to next ball. But yesterday he was so rattled, especially when Jurut was taking too long to get to his strike. He bowled that underarm ball also to get the attention. Now, these things are not what Bumrah does. He's generally very calm and composed when it comes to bowling. Something was
Mm.
bugging, maybe he was irritated, maybe something was there, and he was not his usual self. And of course,
Yeah.
and we have to give that to that one bowler also. A bowler will have a day off. That's why we are having three extra bowlers, right? It was
Yeah.
absolutely fine.
Yeah. I
Bumrah
agree
did
on
bowl
that.
13
Yeah.
no balls, and okay, that's it's not like one of the greatest legends. Like Asjad said, Zahir Khan, we consider him as one of the greatest bowlers India ever had as part of pace. So if he can have it, why not Bumrah? Why let's give that leave away? And just few days ago he took a fifer. And for all you know, second innings is coming. Don't
Yeah.
underestimate him.
Yeah. As Ashutosh says here, talk about discipline in that spell. Siraj spell 5 out of 4 went against him in the umpire score. But Asjad, I couldn't get your opinion on the reviews that Virat Kohli took in the first innings against England. They were blunders. I mean, 2 reviews that were missing leg, and then he just took the review in the last second, and then they were clearly going to miss leg, and he took the risk to take those 2 reviews. So, your opinions on that? I
So
mean,
it was Joe Root, wasn't it, who was batting? It
yeah,
was Joe
Joe
Root.
Root
Yeah.
twice on
Okay.
Joe Root. Yeah,
Yeah. So I understand the thought process, but I would reverberate what Wasim Jaffer says, which is DRS stands for don't review Siraj. Okay.
yeah,
So don't review what Siraj is bowling. That's what I took from that. But honestly speaking, I think those were close calls initially. Like one of them at least looked like that was gonna hit leg, but DRS showed something else. I genuinely thought it was going to be hitting leg. That's what I thought. But at the
yeah,
end of it, one of them was a logical risk. The other one, I don't know why Virat went for it. Rishabh Pant was like, "That's going down leg. That's going down leg. That's going down leg." And then the last second, Virat's like, "Yeah, let me just do it. Let's just review it. What's the harm?" So yeah.
yeah. Aryan, I think you did a video on, I think, the reviews of what how Virat
Yeah,
Kohli took.
my the
Opinion on
whole
it.
point of my video, whole point of my
Aryan,
video
your voice
was
is
that
getting out. Could you
when
reduce
when
your volume a bit? Yeah, it's
my
a
volume.
bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Now it is fine.
yeah.
Now it
Now
is
it's
fine.
fine. It's fine. Now it's fine. Yeah,
Okay, okay. Now, my whole point of the video was the second review was, I mean, taken in a joke, literally in a joke, because Virat Kohli was basically laughing at everyone and he was not even
right.
paying attention to what Rishabh Pant was saying. So,
Yeah,
I mean, we guys have played cricket at some sort of level. This is like international cricket and this is test cricket. You can't take anything for granted. This was a review taken very well for granted. Like, we have three, why might as well not use one? And this again, I think it might have costed India. Who knew? So
mm,
well, again, Kohli, he's a very emotional captain. Everybody knows that. He is very instinctive, and again, he goes with what the bowler feels. He shouldn't do that, and he should go by his gut feel. And if the keeper is saying that it's going down leg, it means that he has also moved along with the ball. If the ball is going down leg, the keeper has moved. So that is a clear indication that might be missing leg or just clipping. So again, a bad review, very bad review that one.
but
Just to
I want
add
to
to
give a
what
comment. I
Aryan
think
said,
first of all, I think Kohli needs, I think, toss coaching more than DRS. I think he's lost the last 8 tosses. I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, yeah.
uh,
Venkat, your thoughts
yeah,
on this as well? Yeah, a
just to
quick
add to
thought.
what
Yeah,
Aryan said, see, Kohli,
yeah,
he's a very stat-oriented captain. So if he's coming with 5 bowlers, even if you see in a T20, where irrespective of situation, if he decides, okay, the middle over is bowled by this bowler, and that he will go with plan irrespective of the situation. If he's made a plan, he will go for it. I think the same happened with Joe Root. He remembers the stat in last series and everything. Joe Root gets out by Albion is not going to give you those edges. He's not going to give you those lofted shots on the boundary lines. If at all you want a wicket of Joe Root, it has to be at LBW. And
yeah,
yesterday, I think the reason he went for that is based on that stat also, I feel. Of course, it looked like he was taken on a joke, like Aryan said, but same option, like I said before. If this would have been a 3 4 year earlier Joe Root, he defends on the off stump. So if it is hitting on the pad, it will go and hit the leg stump, and that's how he got out in the last series. But now the both time when it hit, he was defending on the middle stump. So this guy thought, okay, it will hit, but the ball was swinging also. It went on to miss leg stump both times. So that's
yeah,
it's the same thing that
yeah.
is coming in.
And
And
Ravindra Jadeja, I think
yeah,
his
yeah.
bowling was okay yesterday, except for that 2 no balls.
No.
But
That is a crime. A spinner bowling
yeah,
no
as
ball is a
Ashutosh,
crime.
Agreed.
yeah.
Completely.
Asjad, your opinions on Jadeja on his
I don't
bowling so
understand how a spinner can bowl no balls.
It's a
I've been
crime.
thinking
It's a
about this.
crime.
It doesn't make sense. The fast
hmm,
bowler makes sense because they're running from 20, 30 yards. Okay. Jadeja walks to the crease. How is he bowling a no ball? And
hmm,
his foot goes like about so far ahead of the crease and then it brings back.
yeah,
That I'm okay with, but I don't understand how he keeps bowling no. He bowled 2 no balls, didn't he? In this innings, and
Yeah.
it's a crime. It's definitely a crime in cricket
You
for a
remember
spinner to be bowling no ball.
in
Yeah,
Australia
yeah,
also
yeah.
where Ashwin bowled one no ball and the stat was he bowled no ball after some 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
So
Yeah. I think that
that
you're
was
right
the
on that.
stat that
Yeah.
came out. Like
I can actually tell you why couple of days back, even today I had a game. Couple of days back, like I got smoked all over the place. It was a T20 game, but when you're getting smoked for runs and you're under pressure, sometimes you speed up in your run up as a spinner, and then you can overstep. Okay, that is understandable when you're going for runs. But
Yeah.
again, I think Ravindra Jadeja, he's a bowler who can contain. He's not a proper wicket taker unless until the pitch is doing something for him. India will regret Ashwin in the fourth innings. I'm saying that right now
Yeah.
because Ravichandran Ashwin is a crafty bowler. He can take wickets in any conditions. He's got that many variations. Jadeja doesn't have the variation. He doesn't only has the arm ball to go with him. Ashwin has a box of variations, and this track will support spinners on the last day. And I think Jadeja's role might be a bit too much for him because paces are also gonna bowl, and I don't know how much he will bowl on the
As I
last
said,
day.
I think on all channels, I think I also wanted Janeja to be replaced by Ashwin, but I think because of the batting factor that Janeja gives, I think that 40 runs, 30, 40. But I think even Ashwin can bat as well. I mean, his averages are not too bad. I mean, I know in West Indies conditions, his average is about 50, and in England, I think his average is about 23 or something. So, Asjad, your opinions whether Ashwin could have been brought for sure, either replacement for Shadur Thakur or even Jadeja, but
I okay.
I think it's a
I
selection headache for India right now.
Yeah, it is.
I
It's a
see that
selection
happening.
headache
Yeah,
because Siraj is performing. Shami is bowling okay. I think Shami might be the one that kind of misses out if, potentially in the next game or the game after that if they decide to bring in Ashwin. It's the fact that Ravi Jadeja gives you so much with the bat and he's a left-handed batsman. That's how I
yeah,
see him being picked. Otherwise,
yeah,
India has what? India has one left-hander in the top six. Is that right? Yeah, one
yeah.
left-hander in the top
Rishabh Pant.
six.
Yeah,
Okay. So to
yeah,
provide some sort of uh, difference or some sort of new thing within the batting lineup, they have Ravi Jadeja at number 7, who is a left-handed batsman. Now, if you talk about his bowling, and Aryan said something, he's more of a container, not a wicket taker. I'd
mm,
half agree with you that he is a container. He can take wickets, but he's not the wicket taker that Ravichandran Ashwin is. Ashwin on most pitches will give you wickets. Ravi Jadeja on most pitches might not give you wickets, but he'll contain the runs. He'll get some sort of something extracted from the pitch, but he wouldn't be as dangerous as Ashwin because of the variety and the variations that he has.
yeah.
Now, they
Because he
could,
played county cricket, I think, for
of
Surrey
course,
before that Ashwin, and then he was on pick for the first 2 Test matches. And right now, I think he's the number 2 Test bowler. I think in ICC rankings right now, he's the best bowler for India
yeah.
when it
On
comes to
top of
rankings.
that, Pawan, you have to understand, he picked up a fiver in that county game, picked up a fiver in England, and he
a
wasn't
six
given
for
a
I think.
chance. And I thought Jadeja would not play the series. I'm a huge Jadeja fan, but I was like, Jadeja's not gonna get a chance. And then Jadeja starts. I was like, there's only one reason, because he's a left-hander. They thought they'd bring him in. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. And it's very, very apparent now that India need Ashwin back. And the next game, probably 9 times out of 10, I think Ashwin is coming back. Now I don't know instead of who, instead of Jadeja or instead of someone like Shami, because Siraj has been doing well. Bumrah got 9 wickets in the previous match, and Ishant Sharma is just coming back from injury. So it's going to be tough who they kind of take out and bring in, because their top 6, even though Rahane, Pujara haven't been performing, their top 6 is going to remain. Right? There's no changes that's going to happen in the top 6. Any changes that come out will be from the bottom 5.
Yeah, can I make a small point for
Yeah,
like all of us would agree on?
yeah,
Lord's pitch day one. Everybody saw the pitch report. It was green, yes, but everybody kept saying it'll dry out. It's dry underneath. So then
yeah,
why not? Why not? It makes common sense to play both. If we are talking about batting, Ashwin at least I'm saying minimum. At least he's a 20-25 run batsman.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that, and the pitches has eased out so much. He could have easily played. He could have easily batted. These were not that much of a difficult condition. So
yeah. But
I
Ishant
don't know.
Sharma is contributed in this match. That's the issue. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
both
I'm not questioning Ishant.
Shami and yeah,
I'm just saying how India read the pitch. I'm not sure how India, Kohli and Shastri read the pitch. I'm really not sure. I'm very surprised they went in with four pacers.
yeah. I want to take this comment from Ashutosh here. Ashwin should play on any service. I definitely agree on that. If batters take responsibility, you should play 5 proper bowlers who would take 20 wickets. India will miss Ash badly, very badly tomorrow. Yeah, I completely
Completely agree.
agree on that.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
I have two issues with
Completely.
Jadeja. First is his no ball is a crime. There is no doubt about it. Second, he gets way too defensive when batting with the tail. For example, if you see yesterday when Joe Root was batting with tail enders, he was giving them the singles. Okay, I'll take the single. You bat for the next 2 3 balls of the over. You survive, and the bowlers survived for that matter. Mark Wood survived for a fair bit. Even Anderson was holding his ground for at least 16 to 17 balls. If I am not wrong, I'm not sure the number of balls. But Jadeja, whenever there is a tail ender coming, he directly goes for the lofted shots. Is
Yeah.
talking about make scoring the runs in even 4 6 or couple or two running there. So issue with Jadeja is that one. The second thing is getting Ashwin is of course Ashes, but currently Jadeja is improbable.
Mm,
The guy, for all his worth, has been bowling decently. Apart from no balls, his balls are good. He's not leaking runs for 1 point.
mm,
Second thing is the guy is consistently giving over 40 runs. Now 40 runs in a test match is gold, and coming from his number 7 batsman is gold, pure gold. But one thing people generally don't think much about in bowling, but in test matches especially, is bowlers bowl in pair. If you want to be effective in test match, bowlers need to form pair. Say for a
mm,
long time, Ishant and Zahir were those. Jadeja and Ashwin were devastating when they bowl together. And the point is, Jadeja finishes over in 1 minute or so, 1.5 minute max. Now that adds pressure. So batters batting suddenly, oh, I've bowled 6 balls, I've not taken a run. He'll try, and when he's not taking, they'll give him a single. The next over, they'll try and go after Ashwin, and Ashwin takes the wicket. If Ashwin is troubling the batsman, are unable to play, and with the speed that Jadeja bowls, he might get a LBW. So these two
mm.
complemented each other very well. But the fact that Jadeja is going wicketless could also be for the fact that Ashwin is not playing with him, and the other pacers are not bowling as per what when Jadeja could be effective.
Yeah.
If Jadeja is bowling the lines properly, make sure the other bowlers are, because yesterday it was poor bowling from India in terms of bowling. Like Kohli setting 3 slip fielders and the bowlers are bowling in the leg line.
Yeah.
That made no sense. You have to
Mm,
bowl as
I
per the
agree.
field. You have to contribute and complement the other bowler also. So this is
Yeah.
where I think
And
India
talking
is
about day
missing the
four,
plot.
so how do you see day four going on? I mean, how will India respond to the 27-run lead?
It
Do
is
you
tough
see
for
them
India
getting at
now.
least 150 or 200 lead, or do you
A
see
minimum
them?
200. Pawan, minimum 200.
Minimum 200. They need 200.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not about the runs, guys. My question to you is, how many sessions should India target to bat? If you're talking about
yeah.
200 run lead, you're talking about 3 sessions. Now, if you're
Two
talking
and
about
a
Yeah,
three
two
sessions,
and a half. Yeah, 2.5.
do you think
I
yeah,
mean,
I
by
would
day
say
half,
that.
I
day
mean,
five?
by half, I
Don't
mean
think
last hour of after tea, last hour and a half.
fair enough. Then you're saying 2.5, so you're giving at least 3.5 sessions to England on day 5. And
Yeah.
do you think 200 run will be enough to defend against an England batting lineup with Root currently
That's
unbeatable?
very
I don't know
difficult.
who
Yeah,
can get
I
him
think
out.
that's very difficult.
No,
At
250,
least
250. Yeah, I'm saying 250, 260.
Then if you're saying 250, we are talking about 250 runs in 2.5 sessions. That is again
Hmm.
that's
difficult.
not possible. That's not possible for sure. I think
Maybe then tomorrow till lunch even. Who knows? Two
See,
sessions
it's
for
very
him.
good. A
tomorrow till
drawn
lunch,
match.
if
Who
you're
knows?
talking about day 5
Talk
till
about the
lunch,
weather. Talk about the weather. It could be bad in. We can't predict the weather in England, especially at Lords. I mean, anywhere in England currently, the weather has been so bad, and fans have been criticizing the weather as well. So I
it
think
is
weather will
sad to
come
see,
into
but
play for as well.
this
Yeah.
is going the same way World Test Championship went. We have
Yeah.
only 6 sessions left now, and India has to decide now how many
Mm,
sessions to bat and if at all they can bat. Now consider in the 2 Test matches that has happened, if you remove the openers, the runs the openers scored, Mitchell does nothing. A tail from Jadeja, Pant and Jadeja onwards would give you a max of 150 runs
yeah.
on a very great
Yeah.
batting session. Our middle
Asjad,
order
how do
needs
you
to
see
fire.
how? Yeah. Asjad, how do you see the Virat Kohli and Ravi Shastri approach? I mean, on day four, will India bat for three sessions? So, how do you see it going? Like, whether India, because I mean, in England are trailing by 20, India trailing by 27 runs, and most probably, I think Aryan and even I agree that India should take at least a 250 lead, because coming day five, we never know whether England will try for a draw or go for a win. So,
I think minimum 200 lead is required from an Indian perspective. If we look at day one, India scored 276 in 3 sessions. Okay, so
yeah.
scoring 250 in 3 sessions is possible. 2.5 is a bit difficult, but 3 sessions scoring, getting a lead of 250, right, which means they need to get 277 minimum. Okay, if they do
Yeah.
that, 3 sessions tomorrow is good enough for India to potentially bowl out this England lineup, considering the fact Joe Root is great. Yes, Joe Root is unbeatable, as Venkat said, but everyone else has got kinks, right? We know
Yeah.
Sibley's struggling. We know Hasib Hamid might be looking to like score a run after what is it, 1700 days or whatever it is. Okay, but he's gonna be struggling. He's gonna be under pressure. Then we've got Johnny Bairstow, who played really well in the first innings, but we have to remember is Johnny Bairstow. He's not as consistent in Test cricket, at least for the past 2-3 years, as he is
Hmm.
with the white ball. So
I
there's got to
agree.
be a lot of pressure on the English batsmen as well. If they're given something like 260, 250 to 270 to chase in 3 sessions, England are not India. They will not go for it. They don't have a
Mm,
Rishabh Pant. That's like,
mm,
yes, you could say, oh, Josh Butler is a Rishabh Pant kind of player. You could say that, but Josh Butler in red ball has not been going as well either. His form
mm,
isn't as good as someone like Rishabh Pant, if you were to use that example. So I think India ideally needs a minimum of a 200 lead, but ideally, yes, 250 would be fantastic as a lead. And then
yeah.
let England bat basically the entirety of tomorrow. So that's just
Mm,
enough time. So England
yeah.
are in the middle. Do we go for the draw
Mm,
or do we go for the win? And India just
yeah.
goes for the win.
I agree on
Hmm.
that completely. Yeah. Ashutosh
But I
also
have
says an
only
interesting
one.
statement here. I'm sorry to say, Pan special is needed today for India to assure chance of India win tomorrow. Yeah, I completely agree because of his strike rate. When he goes bizarre for sure. Especially
But guys,
when
Pawan,
Moin Ali.
if we
Yeah.
talk about that, if we need a punch special today, we are talking about losing 5 wickets.
Mhm.
You, if
Yeah,
you're
but
losing 5 wickets, no, I don't think punch special can also save us. See, again, the question is when what Asjad said tomorrow, if you're talking about 270 lead, okay, that's a tough target to score 270 in the final day. I agree, but you're talking about 3 sessions giving them. Okay, now I'll give you 3 names. One is Rory Burns, who defended well. Even if Zach Crawley and Hasib falls, you get Joe Root standing there. Okay, first point. Now, if these two manage to stay for 2 sessions, if either of these guys, and let me tell you, Root has been scoring at a terrific rate. The guy has been scoring. His strike rate is, I don't know what he's doing. He's not
yeah.
wasting balls. Is whenever he's defending, he'll quickly steal a run here and there. And the toughest part, which we are still underestimating, is in the England tail. Even if he managed to get everyone out, is Sam Curran. It was a genius ball
Mm,
from Ishan Sharma, but that guy has also been unbeatable. It seems we are unable, and he takes on.
yeah.
He takes on the
I
Oh,
bowlers.
think.
He's not the fear. He doesn't fear anyone. That is one very fearful thing about that guy.
Hmm. I think Joe Root and Johnny Bairstow once again needs a key partnership for sure. I mean, when it comes to the fourth innings of England, if it goes to the fifth day, but the fourth day, how do you see KL Rahul again playing a wonderful, I mean, innings? So do you see someone else stepping up instead of KL Rahul today's
I feel
session?
Rohit and Rahul will get out cheaply, maybe under 50 runs, and it will be two of the three middle order batsmen who will step arise to the occasion. I
huh.
feel
Because
that
I
is
think
going to
Pujara,
happen.
Kohli, and Rahane are in bad form right now. I mean, I
Up to
think
a
since
certain level, I'd
2020,
say
the average is around
Kohli is
20.
fine. Up to say Kohli is fine because we expect so much out of Kohli even when he scores 40, 45 runs, which is good enough in terms of test runs. You're giving 40 runs to the score. We
Yeah.
expect so much out of Kohli. We're like, okay, you did not do anything. Kohli is playing fine.
Mm.
He got out to a genius ball
Hmm.
by Anderson. In then the first innings, he batted well. To be honest, he did good.
But Yeah. The danger I feel is if England batters the top three or even root, if they set up the base for England, then these guys can just open their T20 game up, and that's going to be trouble for India because Ali, Sam Curran, Josh Butler, if you have given them the license, they can go very hard, and then, well, Indian bowlers will be put under pressure. Then they have to bring their skills out. So it all depends on what kind of base the English batsmen give them while chasing that target. If they're in a good position, they might as well say to these guys, "Go for it," and well, that might be danger.
So finally, I want to go. Do you change with your predictions, all three of y'all? I mean, Aryan went for Indian win, and Venkat, if I'm not sure, went for Indian win. Would you change your
No,
prediction, or you still stick with the Indian win?
I'll change mine. 50% Indian win, 50% draw.
Asjad,
my
your
prediction
opinion?
was never Indian win, Pawan. My prediction is either a England win or it's a draw. Because India have been poor in these decisions. Like we discussed, what is the target you set in these three sessions? First point. If you are saying
I agree with
250
that.
in 2.5 sessions, it is difficult. So the approach has to be very clear. And to take those 10 wickets in the last one day, your all bowlers needs to be on song. Apart from a Shami, who I don't know what he does in second innings, he's got his name second innings Shami. The guy is a different beast altogether when it comes second innings bowling. Then maybe up to a certain level, Ishan Sharma. Bumrah, I hope he comes back because he clearly seems rattled. I hope he someone speaks to him. Okay, what is his issue? What is bothering him? Let him come back. That is my hope. But it's either an England win or it's a draw.
Yeah. Asjad, do you think India still have a chance, or whether definitely you think England will win for sure, or which is
I
your?
I'm gonna go very diplomatic and say it's gonna be a draw. I think it's gonna be a draw. It's a very high chance because yes, India would like to go for the win. England would like to go for the win, but it's English weather. We have to consider. Even though the forecast is telling us the sun is out, this, that, this. I live in England. I know what happens in England. It
Yeah.
will say it's going to be sunny, and literally 5 minutes later, it's going to rain. Okay, so that's just how it is. So we can't really decide anything. So I'm going for a draw for this particular game.
I think you can give us the weather updates in your channel as well if you
I will.
can for
I'm
all of
streaming the.
us as well. Yeah.
I'm doing the watch along for the first session. So yeah, I'll keep the weather in check for sure.
Hey,
So
Asif,
thank you
just
so much,
let me know if you're doing
guys.
the watch along.
So
I'll like to join in
yeah,
there.
Yeah,
yeah.
Sorry,
we
Venkat
can
was saying
go.
something.
I think your YouTube link for cricket for us
Yeah,
is
could
on
you
my
share your YouTube
description,
link?
so
I'd
you
like
can
to
click on
join.
that and join. Or you can search that on YouTube as well. Cricket for us 2.0, if I'm on. Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
Ashutosh
thank you
over
very
here
much.
also
Mm,
says England win. There is no draw if not for weather. Yeah. I think I also agree with all of you. I also go with
mm,
England win. So thank you so much, Sajjad, coming as a special guest
Of course.
today and for accepting my invite
thank
today.
you.
Hopefully, we can work together in the future. Hopefully, if you have
Yeah,
Yeah,
time permits, whether I can come. Yeah.
yeah, for
yeah.
sure. It's been a pleasure
Maybe.
meeting all of you, man. You
Yeah,
guys know your stuff, so that's great.
Thank you so
yeah.
much for with your
Thank
busy
you.
time as well for joining the channel as well. Yeah. So thank you so much, Astra. Thank you, Aryan, as well once again,
Thank
and
you,
Venkat.
Pawan. Thank you.
And to all the ones who are viewing my channel and all the comments, I took all your comments. If I'm not mistaken, I took all your comments as well.
Yeah,
So thank you so much, guys. So see you in the next video. Yeah. So hope please subscribe to my channel and please click the
yeah.
notification on as well. Yeah. So thank you, guys,
Okay,
and
bye.
see you. Yeah.
Thank you guys for having
Bye.
me. Bye.